Yeah, it's been a great weekend of Premier League action so far, man. You know what I'm saying? City's downfall is here. Basically, City have only won one game in their last 12 matches. The downfall is imminent. It's pretty imminent. But let's talk about the game in West London between Fulham as well as Southampton, the newly promoted Southampton. So, look, the new Southampton boss, Ivan Juric, he basically has now gotten an opportunity to see firsthand how big of a job he's got on his hands. With even some of his side supporters mocking the team's effort, despite them gaining a hard-fought goalless draw at Craven Cottage. Considering that Fulham is actually in form, and a team like Southampton, with all their struggles this season, they should actually be grateful for this result. Gaining a draw away to Fulham, understanding that Fulham is actually in form. Fulham has actually done very well, started the season on a great high. You know what I'm saying? So, there's still so much work to be done, for Southampton, the Saints. You know what I'm saying? And it was actually a bitterly cold, Craven Cottage. You're talking about the former Roma boss and the ex-Croatia player who was actually, who was an animated presence in the press seats after he had actually been announced as manager on Saturday, replacing the sacked Russell Martin. But Juric, sitting alongside, members of his coaching staff, he had to wait until the 56th minute to actually see his team have a shot on target. And with away fans actually shunting, we had a shot after Adam Armstrong's tame 20-yard strike was actually straight at the goalkeeper, Bernard Leno. That just sums up the entire game for the Saints. You know what I'm saying? And that was the only save Leno had to make and highlighted Southampton's weakness up front. A very tame effort, which was actually on target, but, it just shows that Southampton really, really need to go and dig deeper. And come January, they really need to bring in some recruits. Look, Southampton, I've got an idea. I know a striker that you can bring in who's going to give you some goals, who's going to bring in goals. Start with Ikram Reyners from Mamelodi Sundowns. Ikram Reyners has scored 13 goals in his last 15 games, Or even better, the Brazilian, Lucas Ribeiro Costa. But I know they're going to undermine the competitiveness of the PSL. So I'm pretty much sure that they're not even going to think about that. They're not even going to consider that. And think about that. Southampton, their total of 11 goals from 17 matches is the lowest in the Premier League. With Everton's tally of 14, the next lowest. You know what I'm saying? And despite the battling point, Southampton are the bottom at the top flight at Christmas for the first time in their history. And their 6-point tally is their joint third lowest of any side in the Premier League era. With only Sheffield United, 2 in the 2020 and the 2021 season, and Sunderland with 5 in the 2000. Basically, it was like almost a decade ago with Sunderland. I think that was like in the 2005-2006 season, having very fewer goals, having registered fewer goals than Everton and Southampton combined. So it just tells you that Southampton really have to really dig deeper. It shows you that, they've had a very horrendous beginning to the season. And Martin was just sacked last Sunday, shortly after that humiliating 5-0, loss to Tottenham Hotspur at home, with Spurs scoring all 5 of their goals in the first half. But Juric, the 49-year-old will be encouraged by the organization and the spirits that the Saints showed to contain a Fulham side that had actually beaten Brighton, gained draws with Tottenham, Arsenal and Liverpool in their past 4 games. And another boost would be the availability and the impact of the goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale, who had actually missed 6 weeks because of a finger injury, but he ensured Southampton would not suffer a 14th league defeat this season. That just tells you how bad it is, at the St. Mary's. It just shows you. The England goalkeeper, actually got fingertips to a curling effort from the dangerous Alex Iwobi, and later showed the superb reflexes to actually push over Harry Wilson's powerful half volley. And the substitute also, we saw Adama Traore also had a glorious chance to win it late for Fulham, but he dragged his effort wide of goal. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Fulham had the better of the chances. And of course, they were the much better team, but they were very wasteful in front of goal. That's the problem about the Londoners. They were just very wasteful in front of goal. And if Fulham want to play European football next season, they gotta also learn to capitalize on these chances that they create. You can't be affording to drop in the ball. Yes, it's still early days, but however, you gotta always make sure that you capitalize and you punish them. And punish, this team called Southampton, because they're at their lowest. They're at their weakest. So that's what you're supposed to do. Punish them whilst they're at their weakest. But hopefully from this particular point in time, Southampton can actually build confidence after this draw that they've pulled off at, the Craven Cottage. You know what I'm saying? And remember, Martin actually had taken Southampton back into the Premier League after they defeated Leeds in the Championship playoff final at Wembley in May this year, right? But he did admit that he was embarrassed by his side's lowly top flight points total before his near 18-month spell in charge, came to an abrupt end. And just for the 2-1 Carabao quarterfinal defeat to Liverpool on Wednesday, the interim boss, Simon Rusk, led the team from the dugout, with Juric's first game, in charge set to be a home game against West Ham United on the 26th of December. And remember, West Ham also did gain a victory over, Brighton, at the London Stadium. So, the Hammers also, they have had an up and down start to the season. You know what I'm saying? So they haven't been quite convincing, but look, there are games where they've showed a bit of promise. So you can't really say that the Hammers will be fighting for relegation come end of the season, because, they clearly have been showing some signs of positivity. However, even though they've had a very inconsistent start to the season, So with Southampton, with that being said, Fulham, Southampton, they only have a point to gain from this. 3 points were up for grabs and both sides just couldn't take it.